Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
And we get the back view of him. And I mean, it's just a mega.
52 yards is a long shot. Magnum PI is what we named him. No idea.
Just a magnum.
Yeah, just a magnum.
Come on, Cam, last year we said probably 150, mid 150.
Yeah.
Same doe from the morning come out with that 9-pointer.
Here steps out this 90-inch 8-pointer. You're like,
I'm like, okay, well, there's still a buck back there grunting.
Yeah.
And then out steps like another 90-inch 8-pointer. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm like, deer, right there.
Yeah, like
and he's already
yards.
30 yards.
Yeah.
He was literally 5 yards from the base of the tree. Could have been, had a buck down at 1:40 in the afternoon, back there deep on public. 3 does come out pretty early. It was like 245, 24-yard shot, sent the combat veteran, and I tell you what, man, dude, it just smoked. We always get so jacked up when the other person kills. It's just almost like we got it done.
Yeah. And when you killed that doe, I was like, hell yeah, man.
And we come down here to Missouri.
I asked Homey one more time, I'm like, is it a good buck? And he goes, yeah, real good, solid buck. I'm like, all right, boom. And the deer just drops. Sure. Super special meat.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy. Baller rut.
All right, guys, we got Troy Goekeritz on from HuntWarz. This is the owner and creator of this show. So how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, guys. Doing really good.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you coming on. We met your guys at the Iowa Deer Classic. It sounded like you were tied up and trying to get some hunts for the actual show while they were out there. But we really liked what you had going on. We thought it was cool. We think more people should know about it just because it's a once in a lifetime chance for a lot of guys. And you're hunting some of the hardest places to hunt. You're hunting elk and mule deer and a lot of creatures that a lot of guys don't have the money or time to do. And you're making it feasible, know? So just go ahead and go into a little bit of the background of why you started HuntWarz and where the idea came from.
So the idea, I mean, I'm a diehard hunter myself. I live out here west in Utah. And as I've kind of like evolved as a hunter, we got deeper and deeper into the backcountry. We'd hit Montana, we'd hit Utah, we'd hit Colorado. And it was always kind of like we'd show up to the trailhead and kind of see who was there and if we knew anybody or whatnot. But everybody, even a whitetail hunter, everybody, when somebody shows up to the same trailhead, you always ask yourself, like, who's going to win today? And that's just kind of our competitive nature, mine for sure. And, as I was thinking through this idea, I thought, let's just, I know that there's all these buck hunting contests out there where it's big buck contests, but you really can't tell like who's hunting private land, what kind of filming's going on. Like, you hope all those things are on the up and up, but you really can't, nobody's really monitoring that. So how we did it is I decided, what if we just made a competition where we paid for all the hunts? So we covered all the costs of the tags. We covered all the costs of the licenses. We covered everything. We picked the areas and we drop everyday guys in there to see who can be successful in that 7-day span. So there's no preseason scouting. There's no guys that are, running trail cameras all summer long. It's just you versus them in an area. And it's 7 days. We give our guys 1 day of scouting. And so we thought through this and we started fleshing out stuff and we started kind of looking at the process of, okay, well, we need to make sure that people can afford it. So what we did is we just said, all right, we're going to be just like any other application out west. It's $100. Any state you put in for as a non-resident is basically $100. You got to buy a hunting license. You got to buy, just to put in. So for us, we thought, all right, we're going to do a $100 application. That way we know there's, serious teams. It's not $10 and then you get kind of riffraff or whatnot. It's a serious, a little bit of money. But we thought from there, we're just going to cover the whole cost of the hunt. So I went out and found the very best tags I could for last year, and we went and bought New Mexico 16C tags. These are unit-wide tags. So how New Mexico works is you buy a landowner tag, and a landowner can get a tag if he has, I think it's like 15 to 35 acres. I can't remember. So what we did is we went out and landed these landowner tags. Now, the best part about those landowners tags were they didn't have any real huntable private land. So these were all public land hunts. All right. So season 1 was awesome, with the sheer fact that we had 47 participants put in, meaning we had 47 applications. We had kind of started this idea about a year ago. And if you remember, a year ago, that's right when COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we had plans to go to all these Total Archery Challenge events, all these expos, like all these outdoor events to promote it. And all of them got canceled within a week of us actually starting the idea. And when I say starting the idea, I'm talking like dropping like $25,000 on tags, like on just the out tag. So it was a huge investment, and it was kind of that giant leap that I'm like, we're going to do it regardless. Let's just do it. So we went to a few of the Total Archery Challenge events. We got people to sign up, like I said. So we drew our teams out of those 47 participants. Like the odds were insane season 1. I mean, the tags that we bought in New Mexico are less than a 2% chance of drawing that tag normally. So the participants, or the guys that applied for our show, they had like 10 times the chance to be on our show, number 1, to get $3,000 to $4,000 of gear sponsored, number 2, just for showing up, and to win $3,000 or $4,000 worth of prizes if they won their matchup. So the whole premise of the show was, I want to control the video quality, which we do. We have our own videographers, our own cameras. I want to control the area that guys are hunting. So that way there's no preseason scouting. It's a complete level playing field. And I want to control the week that the teams are competing. So basically they have the same rut patterns, the same weather to deal with, the same general public hunters. All of those things are, kind of level that playing field. And the coolest part about it is, if you watch our show, the competition is kind of secondary. Like, these guys are competing against themselves. Like they're trying to tag out. I mean, most of the time you're going to see tagging out is going to win. Like, 2 guys on archery hunts, now our rifle hunts for season 2, that might be a little different, but for archery, you guys know how hard that is to tag out. And especially on, in a new area with limited, preseason scouting, so to speak. E-scouting is basically all they get in one day in camp. It just shakes up for an amazing hunt, and it shakes up for cool personalities. And that's what we love. We, our what do you want to call it? Motto of our show is, HuntWarz, where everyday hunters are stars of the show. And that's what we love. Like, that's us. Like, I want to be the guy that gives away these incredible experiences to guys, and then gives them an opportunity to go compete for above and beyond just, the hunt and taking an animal. So that's kind of the whole premise of where the show came from. And we filmed season 1, and it was a humongous success. We had one brand matchup, which we had Stalker Stick Bows, South Cox. He came on the show, and he was against Aaron Snyder of Kafaru, the CEO of Kafaru. So those 2 battled it out with stick bows in Arizona on a mule deer hunt. And you'll see that matchup after the elk hunts come on. Those guys are hardcore. They're some of the best hunters I've ever seen. But being in a new area, being in the desert where they're not familiar, you're going to see these guys struggle. You're going to see these guys like have to really dive in and dig in and hunt different ways that maybe they're not comfortable hunting.
Yeah, that's epic, man. One thing I really like about it, that, you get to go on these awesome hunts, a chance of a lifetime for a lot of guys, but you also get it filmed like high quality. So you can go on this hunt and you can show your wife, you can show your brother, your dad, be like, hey, I'm out here, and you could tell people about it, but having it on film for the rest of your life to watch, that's worth the money right there, in a nutshell. you're giving these guys the opportunity to go on the hunts, but you're also giving them something to cherish forever, show their kids or whatever. That's part of the reason we started filming, was just to, just save the memories, and anything else that came along was awesome. But they get the memories, they get the hunt, and they get the gear. We work with Badlands too. And I mean, Badlands I think is the hands down the best whitetail gear. I don't know how it stacks up against, the out west gear, but I love Badlands, man. It's up there. So we run it.
Yeah.
That price suit, we use the price suit here late season. That's something you guys might not get into out there, but here late season, it definitely helps us out to stay in the tree a little bit longer. But.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's
my
right.
phone cut out for just 1 second, but no, I totally get what you're saying, Cody. I mean, it was so cool. The day that we launched our premiere was a week ago about, and the coolest part about that was both teams called me and were like, hey, we've got our whole family over here. We've got these viewing parties for we're on the show. Like that to me, Cody, like homie, like that's where we won, regardless of what the show ends up being. Like, it's just cool to know that we actually were able to get people out hunting, give them an opportunity that they never, ever, ever could have, done. And you hear on the first guys talking in their interviews, their backstory interviews about we could have never done this on our own. So that is really what we shoot for. And spending time in camp with those guys was probably some of the funnest hunting I've ever had. It's kind of like your competitors during the day, but you're like total camaraderie at night around the campfire. Everybody's talking hunting, everybody's laughing. And they might not share. There's a lot of guys that are super private. They don't share what they saw at camp, which is totally fine. That's part of the competition. But, they're going to tell a hunting story from a year ago. They're going to tell a hunting story from, 2 years ago. And guys, we all have a blast, and we have a cooking camp. He takes care of all the food for everybody. We have your favorite snacks, your favorite drinks. Like I reach out to all the guys beforehand, like, hey, what do you like to have? What's your favorite, candy? I mean, we go as far as what's your favorite coffee? We have Black Rifle Coffee as a sponsor. Like we do everything we possibly can to make these hunts as memorable as we can. And the only cost, this is the only cost that's intact for you guys, is the $100 application and the gas or the flight to get there. Most guys want to drive because they want to take their animal back with them in their truck. And we're cool with that.
I mean, just having the camp set up and everything, that's huge. Guy's going to go on public. He's going to be like, well, I'm either going to like rough it out, in my truck, or maybe a 1-person tent, or maybe have to pack out every day and go back to a hotel. But you got a full blown camp out there. You're going to come back to food. You're going to come back, and everything's kind of set up for you. It's almost like a guided hunt, but you're on public land. So it's as a guided hunt, to the fact of everything's set up, but the actual hunting is public, which I think is cool also, because the challenge of that is something that me and Homey love. We just the part that the people are going to remember is, like you said, back at camp. They're going to remember the hunt, of course, but they're going to remember the back at camp stories and the food, and the third day where they're like getting their butt kicked out there, and that's what they're going to remember in 10 years. So
it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I love it. I love every minute of it. It's a freaking blast.
Yeah, I know that. Just like we heard the idea, and I thought it was an awesome idea to be able to get people motivated and just excited to maybe be able to go on. I know multiple people that buy a $25 scratcher and lose it. You know what I mean? So this is $100, and you're actually doing with a lifetime thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to do something lifetime. So we talked about, the $100. I want to get this out here in the middle, but how does a guy go about signing up if he wants to?
Yeah. So it's really simple. So we've learned a lot over the past years, or the past year. I'll kind of explain a few things that we've learned. So number one, what we used to do is you had to apply with your teammate. So you had to call your buddy. You had to make sure that this date works for him, and this, and like, can you go on this hunt or this? And like, we just kind of made it too complicated. And what we found is, from the beginning of our application process to the end, we would, luckily it didn't happen season 1, but I thought through this. I'm like, what if somebody like doesn't like that person anymore? But now we applied for him. So, what we did is we just made the application really simple. It's just one person applies. So you apply, we draw your name, you then just get to pick your teammate. So you call a buddy, hey, I made it on HuntWarz. I can't believe it. So you could have your own raffle if you wanted. You could have your own buddies put in $10 if you wanted, and you could make money on this thing. Like, who wants to go out west hunting? So we made that adjustment. So all it is you go to HuntWarz with a Z.com, and that's our webpage, and you hit apply now. And all it is basic name, address, phone number, email address, just so that we now have a contact of who we pull out of the hat. Once that, that was kind of one thing that we learned through the first season is let's just make the application very simple. Guys apply. And the other thing it does is it kind of eliminates like who's going to be the shooter and who's going to be the caller. So if you put in and you get called, you're the shooter, your buddy's the caller. If Homey puts in, he gets drawn, he's the shooter, you're the caller. It kind of helps teammates to kind of feel like, okay, we'll both put in. Whoever's name gets pulled out, they're the one that gets to go shoot. Now, the cool part is our prize packs are usually in 2s. So whoever wins, your shooter and your caller both get the prizes. So
Nice.
season one prizes were prime bows for each of you, brand new ones. They all got Nexus bows. They all got solo stoves. They all got canvas cutters. Both teammates did. They got crispy boots. They got Black Ovis pants and crispy socks. That was the winning prize pack for just the winning team. And so what we learned through season 1 is we had Leopold, we had all these other, gear sponsors. Well, when you're showing up for a hunt, you're comfortable with your gear. And what we found is like, we're giving guys new Badlands packs and they're like rubbing these packs in the dirt to like wear them in, and there's just like a lot of things that go into your equipment. And so season 2, we're actually going to put more emphasis on the prizes you win and not on the gear that you get. And the reason we do that is twofold. Number one, we want you to be comfortable. We want you to be confident in your gear. If I give you a new bino harness, a new set of binos, a new spotter, a new phone scope, and you have one day to set that up, you're going to be like fumbling like crazy.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we're like, you know what, scratch that. Let's just let everybody bring their own stuff. And then we'll put more into the prize pack. So season 2, you're going to see bigger prizes and less upfront gear, just for the fact that guys want to show up and hunt their own stuff. So that was kind of the other thing that we learned in season 1, was making sure that our guys are as comfortable and confident in camp as they can. The other thing we did is we added rifle hunts. So season 2, we have 2 rifle teams that will go hunt antelope. We have the 4 archery elk teams, and that's actually a king of the camp. So you're actually going to have 4 teams in camp all together, same unit, same week, and it's everyone versus everyone, and it's whoever can bring back the biggest bull. And the scoring metric for season 1 was really simple, and I always like to touch on this because I think it kind of shows what type of hunters we are. But the scoring was the total gross score. I've never been a net score guy. I love it when the animal grew it, count it.
Yeah.
It's also including the age of your animal. So if your animal's 5 years old, you actually get double points for the age. So you get an additional 10 points for a 5-year-old animal. So we're pushing guys to shoot as mature of animals as we can. The third metric is what I feel like kind of the differentiator. We do a shot yardage deduction. And if you watch the first episode, you'll see that shot yardage deduction is 0 to 40 is 0, 40 to 60 is 10, 60 to 80 is 20, and 80 plus yard shots are a 30-point deduction on your score. So you take an 80-yard shot on a 330 bull, you're now down to 300, or 310 or something like that, depending on the age.
I like that idea. That's good, man. Because a guy might have an opportunity at 70 and not feel comfortable. Another guy can, and the guy just doesn't take the shot. So I think that's a good, definitely a good rule to kind of level the playing field. Someone that's been out west
like for us shooting 80, that's just something we don't do in the Midwest. But for guys out West, it's something you guys do normal. You know what I mean? I mean, I know very few people that shoot 80 even practicing. So for you guys out there, it's normal practice. So if you had the Alabama boys out there, you know, on that elk hunt, I'm sure they're not used to shooting 80 yards down there. So
yeah, it brings another facet. And the other thing that we also have is a draw blood rule. So if somebody draws blood, now I'm talking like legit blood. I'm not talking about like we can on the camera see it passed and grazed a leg or something like that. I'm talking if there's a legit shot anywhere in that abdomen area that draws blood, that is their animal. They have to hunt that animal and no other till the remainder of their hunt runs out. So we've kind of put in a lot of things that, you know, and we do once you're drawn, that doesn't necessarily mean you're on the show. And why I say that is because our hunters have the highest ethics. We don't have alcohol in camp. Like we are as clean cut and want to be that way and remain that way. And so we interview every team to make sure they'll live up to the expectations and, you know, the things that we have in store for them in camp. And then, you know, it's nothing crazy, but it's, we don't, if you notice, we don't have a lot of swear words on our stuff. Like that's just the type of guys we are. So we do an interview with each team. As long as they're okay with those expectations and they sign off on that, they're going hunting on our show.
Nice. Yeah, you got to keep it clean, man. You don't know who's watching it, what kind of content they want to absorb. So that's the best route. We try to do the same thing on here. Sometimes we get a little carried away. Last episode was kind of raw. We had a lot of we were in Iowa, and that's like the land of the bush lights, I guess. So we were definitely motivated on that one. But I think that's the right thing to do. I do like the draw blood rule too, because I mean, if you go out there and you hit something in the shoulder, you know, keep hunting it. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And I mean, again, these are public land. These are everyday hunters. So the one thing, you know, that you can kind of hedge your bet when you're out hunting, Cody and Homey, is like you're the ones out hunting. You can kind of hedge your bet. With us, total wild cards. You have no idea what you're going to get. Guys could walk around for 7 days and never see an animal, and we got to put a show together about it. So it is fun. It's exciting. I think it's what the hunting world needs. Hunting world needs everyday hunters. Like they don't need people shooting their 50th animal on private property. You know, they need the real reality of hunting, of what it is. And that's what we're trying to bring to, you know, to the hunting world.
Yeah, that's what we did with this podcast. We try not to have any celebrities on, anybody that's like really well known. We do every now and then, but we're just trying to find regular guys, because that's what I feel like that's what people want to watch, or what they need to watch and listen to and consume. So if you're going to try to learn something, it's better to learn it from someone that's you know, your style of hunter. He's hunting public. Maybe that guy's never hunted elk before. He's out there for 6 days trying to figure it out. Or you could watch someone that's hunted elk for 25 years. He goes out there and gets it done. It's just not the same ballpark. You're in different playing fields, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool to, the other thing I love about it is, and you guys have seen episode 1 now, but it's just watching those guys, you know, get familiar with the area. Like those Bama boys, like, they're very uncut, and I love that. I love the banter between those two, and just the different, I don't know what you want to call it, you know, hunting verbiage, so to speak. Like it just use different words.
Yeah,
those boys from the South, I love them. So it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere, and we're going to continue to just, you know, do everything we can.
This is a holler, down in a holler.
Down in the holler.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so we're talking about the first episode. So you guys have the premiere and the first episode on your YouTube. That's at HuntWarz on YouTube. Kind of talk about what you guys got coming for the future this year to come out on YouTube.
Yeah, so it'll come out on Amazon Prime. That'll be loaded this week, our first episode. We also have Carbon TV as a partner as well, so it'll be there. And then of course our YouTube channel, which is HuntWarz TV. What we did is we actually are shooting for anywhere from 3 to 4 episodes per matchup. So, that way we can capture the 7 days that guys are out there hunting. We feel like it gives you a good idea of what the hunt was like. There's so much good stuff that's really hard, but we have to pass up on that we'll probably use for social media content or this, that, and the other. But the main thing is we wanted to capture each matchup as its own matchup. So you're not going to see, it bouncing between all 4 teams. You're just going to see 2 teams back and forth. Like the first matchup, Alabama, the Bama boys versus the Utah guys. The second matchup is going to be the Inclines versus the Flurries. The Flurries are from Montana. The Inclines are from Colorado. And so each matchup is going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 episodes. Season 2, we're going to stick to that same format. The only difference is we do have those rifle antelope hunts, and we have rifle mule deer hunts, and then we have a duck hunt at the end. So we have 2 teams that will be drawn to go on a really cool plush duck hunt. Now that one's probably going to be at a duck hunting lodge because duck hunting's duck hunting. Yeah. So that one's going to be based off of species, shells that shots missed. We're going to have legit referees in the blind calling out misses and point deductions. And so that one's going to be more of just a fun time. The other hunts it seems like a little bit more intense. We're looking for some of the best mule deer tags that money can buy out west and elk tags for this year again. So and antelope tags. Guys are going to be chasing some incredible animals this year. We're going to really get some good tags.
That's awesome. And that'd be tough out there. Like guys out there and he maybe not shot a mule deer yet. There's a solid mule deer. You're like, man, is that going to be bigger? Because you got a rifle. Is that going to be bigger than the other guy is going to shoot? And then you got the prize stuff on the line. So that would definitely throw a different element to being out there hunting. Just another added, amount of fun.
Yeah, it's funny. We did a little Instagram story, and I did that. I put up a mule deer. It was about 160-inch buck. And I said, first day of HuntWarz, what would you do on this buck? And it was such a split decision. Guys are like, oh, I'd shoot it for sure. Or, oh, no way. Like, you got to watch your matchup. Like, you've got 6 more days. Like, yeah, it's really, it puts a whole nother spin on things. Guys look at it a totally different way. And it's funny to kind of see how guys' mentality changes throughout the hunt. And so, you'll see that in the first episodes, and you'll see that in season 1, huge on the second matchup. The Montana boys, they had a 5x5 bull at 6 yards for like 15 minutes and decided to pass. And it's an interesting, strategy. It was like day 2 or day 3 of the hunt, and they passed on this 5-point drinking at 8 yards. I mean, it was a can of corn shot. So that just gives you a little bit of excitement for episode 2. It's wild. It's crazy. They've got some incredible stuff that happens. Actually, how the first matchup ends, with it coming down to the wire, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. And that kind of, everybody always asks me, well, what happens if neither team tags out? So if neither team tags out, we have a shootout. It's an archery shootout, and it's 5 arrows per team. So we have both guys shooting. So now the shooter and the caller both have to shoot an arrow from 40. They both have to shoot an arrow from 60, and then they get to designate one person to shoot one shot from 85. And you're talking about $5,000 worth of prizes. So every arrow is worth $1,000.
Yeah. Homie, let's not make it. If we get in there, let's not make the shootout unless it's with a gun.
I'm good at the phone side. It's the real life stuff that bro.
Are you cutting out?
Yeah, homie's cutting out a little bit.
He ain't been there for 35 minutes, and I
thought y'all froze on me there a little bit. I was like, whoa.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're back now.
Did you hear what I said?
No, you're cutting out.
Oh, that's why I haven't talked the whole time.
Yeah, get out the basement, bro. No signal.
Yeah. Hey, I feel you, homie. I feel you.
All right, so just to go over everything one more time. If a guy wants to sign up, it's $100. Go to HuntWarz with a Z on the website. Fill out the registration. You will draw the names. When do you draw the names? When do they need to have the registration in by?
Yeah, June 15th is the last day. Now, this is what I will tell you. We draw a winner every week. And what I mean by that is we've given away a pair of sheep feet. We've given a Mountain Mafia sleeping bag. We gave, I think, a Badlands backpack away. We gave a Leopold rangefinder away. I'll give you guys the first kind of tidbit of this. We're giving a prime bow away here in the next couple of weeks. So, you go put your $100 in, that puts you in for every giveaway we do along the way. And then for all 12 teams that we have going out hunting in season 2. And your $100 is going to cover everything minus your travel wherever we're going. That's it.
Nice, man. So that's definitely like I said, a once in a lifetime chance for anybody from the Midwest like us that, that's got kids and stuff. We might be able to do it in about 10 years when we get, the kids get a little older, we can get away for, be like, all right, tell the wife, I'm only spending like $100 plus fuel. She can't say no to that.
No.
you gotta go.
I mean, last year our elk tags were $8,000 a piece. So you can kind of do the math. Like a lot of guys can't afford $8,000. And then you got camp, you've got food, you've got your license, which was another $600. Like all that stuff is covered season 2. Like, I don't know what else we could do, for guys to help them, and it's everyday guys. Like that's what we want. We want everyday guys. We want guys that hustle, and we want just good all around people. So that's what we're looking for. You don't need to be a diehard, awesome personality. You're going to see, and the Utah guys, they're just normal guys. Like they're not like the Bama boys where they're funny and they're jumping all around. They're just normal hunters. And we're okay with that. We don't need crazy personalities every time. We just want cool hunters and good guys to be in camp with us.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely being different states and stuff, it's going to be cool to watch out for the rest of the year. We're definitely going to be watching for our listeners. Make sure and check them out, at least on YouTube. You're going to really enjoy the content. Like you were saying, we talked about it before, the quality of film that you guys are producing is top notch. Good storytelling. I really like the interviews at the beginning, kind of getting to know the guys, kind of building that story of, if they got any experience or the first time or what they do, kind of builds, like I said, almost like a reality, like you're becoming buddies with them. You're getting to know the guy and getting to watch him hunt. So I really like that aspect. And I think a lot of our listeners are going to like it too. So make sure and check them out. HuntWarz.com is a sign up, right?
Yeah, they can go either one. We've got HuntWarz with a Z or HuntWarz with an S. We added the Z just for a little bit of kick, but both websites go right to ours. Yeah, a little flair. So
yeah,
I appreciate you guys, helping us spread the word. It just makes it so that we get more personalities and more opportunities down the road. So we've got some really cool stuff. I haven't announced the prize packs for season 2 yet, and I've done that just because we're still gathering sponsors. We want to get as much as we possibly can for these guys when they win. And that's just an added bonus. I mean, think about it. Last year, you're going on a $10,000, hunt.
Yeah, that's a win in itself.
So. It's a win in itself. And being in camp and having it filmed and just everything that we do, it really is fun. And our whole goal is to do more teams next year. So we're at 12 teams this year, hopefully 16 to 20 teams this year or next year on season 3. But we're going to run at this thing for a long time. And I think you're going to see a lot of cool hunts come through this as, guys put in, get chosen and get to go on these incredible hunts.
Yeah, we wanted to have you on just because I feel like you guys got something really cool that just people don't know about yet. It's hard to get the word out there, and anything, any exposure you can get is good. YouTube's hard to grow. They're just the algorithm, social media. So hopefully hopefully our listeners go over there, give you guys a follow, and just see if they enjoy the content. I definitely do. I almost positive that 90% of our guys that are listening are going to enjoy the content, just because, like you said, it's normal guys out there. You're not trying to tell them how to do something. You're just filming the hunt and having fun and just showing them what's going on. So
yeah. Well, the other thing I would say for your listeners, primarily probably whitetail guys, we're going to have a whitetail Hunt Wars. I promise you that. So go apply now. And I promise you down the road, we're going to figure out an incredible whitetail hunt that guys are going to go have to compete on, because I know there's a lot of diehard whitetail hunters out there that think they just have it all together. And when we level the playing field, things
be awesome.
get crazy. Yeah, they get crazy.
We were talking about that before we record it. I think you get whitetail guys out there. We've killed some deer, but we're never one to be like, this is how you do it. This is neat. But there's a lot of guys out there that are like that. So to get those names in the mix and say, all right, time to nut up or shut up, let's see what happened. Yeah. I would watch that just to see, seeing guys struggle that on social, you don't see the struggle. Everything looks like it's perfect.
Right.
They're struggling out there. It just doesn't look like it. So I think that'd be very cool.
It'd be funny if one day maybe I'll release this, but some of the personalities and influencers that I've reached out to try to get them to come on their show, they're very reluctant. Let's just put it that way. So if there's an influencer listen to this, hit me up. I promise you we'll find a spot for you. But it's funny to see these influencers and guys that like, oh, I don't think I want to do that. It just,
they don't want to get beat by like some Joe Snow
Yeah.
from Alabama that's never heard of elk bugle. They're like an elk
Right.
hunting specialist,
That could happen. That could happen.
This guy's never even seen an elk. He comes out and kicks my butt, but
yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you having me on. Exactly that. Go check out the episodes on our YouTube channel. I feel like they're pretty entertaining. It's everyday guys just out there hustling.